Point is, if you ask people, majority of them say, "Oh, we are embracing AI." They say that, but like, what exactly do they do? Because if somebody has an account with ChatGPT and uses that or uses Gemini to type emails in Google, I mean, wonderful, but that's not embracing of AI.
Welcome to Chain Reaction, the video podcast for the supply chain and logistics industry. In this podcast, we speak to industry leaders who share their ideas, thoughts, and anecdotes from within the logistics world.
Michael, thank you very much for letting me join you today on Chain Reaction. It's an absolute pleasure to be on the podcast. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm not doing too bad. How are you?
Yeah, brilliant. So I'm very excited about this new series, this new video podcast that you're putting together called Chain Reaction for the logistics and supply chain industry. Just tell us, why are you looking to start this series and community?
Well, the main idea for Chain Reaction was to actually build a platform where the logistics service providers, as well as the buyers of logistics services, actually have an opportunity to talk specifically and practically about the challenges they're facing, the solutions that they're providing, the problems that they have, or the value add that they're offering to their customers, to their suppliers. Many of the logistics focused podcasts that I've saw, they're either academic or theoretical, or they are kind of quite generic, and we wanted to provide the specific companies and the specific businesses with a platform where they can talk about themselves, not just the industry in general, which is also obviously interesting and impactful, but also just talk about what exactly do they do. So it is almost like a platform where the viewers can then see and potentially like or dislikes or find a good match of the services that they either might be looking for or the specific problem that they're trying to solve, so they can find a specific partner that can address that problem.
So do you think that the industry is relatively complicated and fairly traditional in a sense? Do you want Chain Reaction to be something new?
Well, logistics industry is actually is very complicated and very conservative at the same time. So there's, on one hand, there is some innovation, but on the other hand, because the margins in the industry is actually quite thin, people tend to kind of keep the cards very close to their vests, and that creates all sorts of issues for the environment. The businesses tend to be compartmentalized, massively fragmented. You have a huge number of companies running after the same businesses, or big businesses try to, I don't know, exploit the dominance on the market with running out of very, very complicated tenders and so forth, and that actually creates quite a lot of ambiguity. And the biggest problem is the bigger companies actually know how to deal with all that stuff, and the challenge for the smaller smaller companies is that they are being very often treated as an afterthought. They don't bring enough business for the sizable logistics service provider to get mega excited about. So they tend to get overlooked, sometimes underserved, or treated as an afterthought, or they find it's very difficult to find a very competitive offer. That's why we wanted our focus of the podcast series, as well as indeed of the Flox platform, where the whole thing kind of stems from, is focusing on an SME kind of end of the market.
Let's talk about that, because let's talk about two things there, because your background is not traditionally only in the logistics space, right? So maybe you can tell us a bit about your background, but also the reason why you started Flox, which is the sponsor of the series. So tell us about those two things there.
Well, I used to work for almost a couple of decades in management consulting, where I advised large FMCG clients on a variety of supply chain kind of related issues. Either it's a network design or optimizations or restructuring or post-merge integration and so forth. So I worked with the logistics operators as well, but majority of my work was in a consumer goods kind of network design, manufacturing networks, logistics network, warehousing networks, performance improvements, and so forth. So and sort of about 15 years ago, so we had a very big project where we looked at it's called the horizontal collaboration of it was four big FMCGs. I'm not going to name them, but it's like a big FMCG businesses where we looked at how we can combine the network together and how much benefit, operational benefit, can be extracted from such a collaboration, and the savings were massive. It was up to 20% of reduction of transportation costs, a quite a substantial reduction of warehousing costs.
That's huge in a market where, in an industry where the margins are indeed very thin, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. But what killed it is the whole kind of legal debate
Right.
of how to allocate the benefits, how to allocate the savings, who is going to get what, because who drives. So somebody drives volume, somebody drives frequency,
Yeah.
somebody drives the shape of the orders and so forth, and that basically just the lawyers essentially killed the good business idea. So, and the market, I think, wasn't ready at the time. So this is where kind of the whole idea about Flox and the collaboration platform, the logistics collaboration platform, has been kind of sitting in my head and gradually developing into something that I can physically build. And I think with currently there's few more things happened. One is there's definitely a breakthrough in technologies, and I'm not talking AI. I'm talking about cloud computing, cloud storage, speed with which the mathematics and the route plannings, for example, and allocations can be done very quickly.
Right.
So that was the technological breakthrough. That's one thing. Then the psychological breakthrough, I would think, because only recently, let's say for the past decade, the whole concept of shared economies have become quite popular. So it's migrated from personal kind of our lives like Uber or I don't know, car rentals and so forth, that shared ownership or shared use of capacities and assets has become not just popular, but at least accepted.
Right.
And is gradually getting into the business environment. So that's the second thing. And the third thing is the massive pressure on efficiency, environmental improvements that actually drives people finally to accept that probably we're not competing inside a truck and we're competing on shelf.
Right.
So we might be better positioned from our efficiency point of view to actually try and use shared capacities in the warehousing space or shared transportation capacity when the load matching, and that's what. Those are the fundamental elements that essentially triggered us into like, okay, now we can develop the platform, and the market is getting ready for adoption.
And let's dive in there a little bit deeper. So in layman's terms, Flox is a platform between people that are looking for a solution and those that are looking to, let's say, make availability of services and space, right?
Yeah.
Well, who are the two main parties that you're looking to support with the Flox system?
Yeah, exactly. So Flox is a software platform. We call it a two-sided marketplace. So on one side of it, it's that we have a buyers of logistic services. So it's the manufacturers, distributors of, let's say, consumer of packaged goods. So we're not dealing with aggregates or oil, but we're dealing something that could be packed in a carton. Carton goes on the pallet. Pallet goes in the truck or in the boat in the container that it moves. So it's on one side. But they also need to buy external logistic services. So the other side of the marketplace is the providers of logistic services. We are not a logistics company. We are an intermediary. We are a brokerage service with enhanced functionality, and I'll talk about that in a second. But in a sense that we're brokering the buyer and seller transactions, relationships, matchmaking, helping both parties to actually find the ideal customer or supplier. So we are giving opportunities for the providers of service to list their properties or list availability of the transportation capacities, the rates, and what type of businesses that they're looking for. So when we have demand, we can match it with supply.
And
so that's the matchmaking side of the brokerage.
Brilliant.
Yes.
What benefits, what savings could be brought to a company that's looking for a new supplier, do you think, if they had opportunity to search for a range of suppliers?
Well, I think is the visibility and kind of transparency of information flow is there is always there's always a perfect match between a buyer that wants a very, very specific service and a buyer that is capable to provide that service. And sometimes it's not just about explicit savings that somebody gets a better price on, I don't know, rental per pallet
Right.
week. They can get a much better service for the types of products they actually want to get delivered. So somebody does, I don't know, premium, high-end, I don't know, crockery that requires special handling. It's fragile. It needs additional wrapping and labeling and something and something. And the value add that a particular provider can bring actually is going to generate more
Mm.
revenue and more money for the businesses. So it's not about cost savings. It's about having the relationship that help each other grows the business. So on one side, the provider gets extra revenue, extra clients, and extra margin. On the other side, the buyer of the service actually gets the superior delivery and can grow business and focus on growing the business more
Yeah, so finding
effectively.
a great solution is going to free up their time to grow the business more efficiently. Yeah, yeah.
Exactly. This is, I mean, you can check LinkedIn. It's like full of memes about how logistics people are just firefighting all the time and what the hell looks like for a logistics person. This is exactly the daily life of all of them. And what we're trying to do is actually help out. And this is actually the second bit of the Flox platform is actually we also facilitate transactions after the matchmaking
Mm.
has happened. So we try to get rid of Excel spreadsheets or remove the need of having Excel
Right.
spreadsheets where all the communication and interaction actually happens through the platform all the way through to the payments. So that allows people to have full transparency and full visibility and retain all the information that they need for daily
Yeah, and I
decision
know
making.
you've spoken to a very large brand who said that we're looking to make space available for people that are looking for a solution, and then they said we don't want to deal with any of the payment problems. We need a system that is going to take care of all of that for us. So there's obviously demand. I want to ask you a question about the advanced features. So we covered the basics there. Who is Flox trying to help? But what other features or developments do you see are important that will happen in the future, but also that people can access now?
Mm. Well, since we're managing the kind of since we're managing the transaction, we also as I mentioned that we also retaining the kind of the raw data about the products and the master data of for products, for example, the product portfolio. So a customer could be working with a multiple e-retail channels, so they don't need to retain or maintain their product portfolio master data separately in Amazon, separately to Shopify, separately to Etsy, separately to whatever Magento, and so on and so forth. It all could be in one place and synchronized through an API with all of those guys. Well as they having so we are having connections and integrating with. It's not mandatory, but it is beneficial when we integrate with WMS systems. We're not replacing WMS systems of providers, but we're integrating with them. So the whole setup can help automate the instruction management process very effectively in a sense that it would not require a lot of admin manual effort to put on top of such relationships, and that helps two things. And first of all, that lowers the cost of managing a relationship, which means even a smaller customer is is productive and is profitable for logistics service provider. Second of all, we aggregate the whole thing, so they don't need to integrate with many; they just integrate with us, and we offer them a pipeline
Right.
of businesses actually to either side. So to our buyers we offer a network of providers, and to our providers we offer an aggregated pipe of business connections and opportunities they can service. So it's a win-win on either side. And then to your point of what are the advanced features, having the raw data actually gives us the luxury to then start building on advanced functionality, such as all the way from just a simplistic forecasting, for example, and visibility modules, whether somebody looks at inventory, whether somebody looks at invoicing or
Yeah.
the cash flow and so forth, all the way up to a fairly sophisticated AI-powered predictive algorithms that can help out manage the business more effectively, identify potential risks, whether it's supply risk, so it's a customer risk, and so on and so forth. So this is some of that work is already available. Some of this advanced functionality is in the pipeline. We've literally launched just recently an AI matchmaking functionality that is now available on our website. So this is something that is actually we also see as an advanced feature that we haven't seen others are offering, or anybody else actually, for that matter, in that space is offering.
You are listening to Chain Reaction. This podcast is brought to you by Flox, the leading marketplace for the supply chain and logistics industry. Visit flox.is to find out how you find the perfect supplier or make your services available to prospective buyers. Thanks for tuning in. Now back to the show.
I was going to ask you about that. So what percentage of companies do you think in this industry that are actually embracing AI to its full capacity?
Well, it's a difficult question to answer.
Question, right?
It is, yeah. Because I mean, the point is, if you ask people, majority of them say, "Oh, we are embracing AI."
Right, they say that. Yeah,
exactly. They say that, but like, what exactly do they do? Because if somebody has an account with ChatGPT and uses that or uses Gemini to type emails in Google, I mean, wonderful, but that's not embracing of AI. At least on the corporate level, it's on individual level, absolutely perfect. It helps out. It helps out kind of with workflows and I don't know, writing nice emails and so on and so forth, or doing some research, for example. But actually having AI algorithms being part of some workflows within the business that does, I don't know, risk modeling, for example, or tracking, I don't know, payments or tracking some predictive analytics. Not many people are doing that.
yeah.
So on one hand, it's either mega corporates that kind of find it interesting and they are playing with this, playing with the technology in a very kind of siloed environments.
Yes.
Somebody's doing that geographically, or somebody's doing that on a particular, I don't know, production site and so forth. But I don't see it's a widespread adoption. There are no killer applications. I mean, remember from the, I don't know, 20 years ago, there was a term like killer application. There are no killer applications. I think we are kind of finding, everybody's trying to find what it is for them and how they can use it. It depends on how visionary and how forward thinking the CIO or the technology people are. In a business, we are trying to find that killer application. We believe that kind of Flox and its capabilities would be such a killer application, but obviously time will tell.
Yeah, it definitely feels like Flox is integrating AI in where the opportunity is biggest, right? There are lots of companies out there that seem to just integrate it just for the hell of it, and it doesn't really bring a lot of value. But the definitely
blockchain was the same thing, exactly.
Right,
it's like it's like everybody was running after blockchain about 10 years ago or 7 years ago, and now we see that other than crypto and some in finance and there's some other areas, but we don't see widespread adoption of it.
We know that investment bankers have done very well out of it, indeed. Interesting. And then to wrap up and bringing the focus back to the chain reaction series and community, because I'm sure there will be people connecting through the series over time, and I know you want to build some community groups. But I'm going to ask you again a two-pronged question. So what are the biggest challenges facing companies at the moment? And then what are the major opportunities right now?
I don't to sound like you have some TED Talks where people are saying, okay, well, the Chinese character for challenges and opportunity,
yeah, that's
and so
a good
forth.
one.
Yeah, it's that kind of stuff. But I actually see it's two sides of the same coin, effectively. So on one side, you have a current market conditions, especially with the whole tariff kind of yo-yo and the general kind of the state of economy creates a massive challenge in the market. So people are bleeding cash. We see excessive filing for bankruptcy, for example, across the logistics businesses, unfortunately. So it's a very tough market environment in the UK in particular. Sort of after Brexit, when we had a kind of smallest level of capacity availability, and then now it actually gets to the highest. So the vacancy rate is actually quite high, and it's difficult for businesses to find kind of new customers and profitable customers, or the customers that bring a lot of margin. So which is, but I mean, there's always calm before the storm, and I think on the as economy will start
Yeah.
picking up, and that's the flip side of the coin. It is now a great opportunity for the buyers of the services to kind of reshuffle their relationship, because so for some logistics service providers, they have a portfolio of customers, some of which might not be profitable. We kind of working with them because we kind of used to,
Right.
they're both the small, but they kind of it is difficult and so on and so forth. So neither party kind of likes what's going on, but they kind of have a difficulty of just, I don't know, dropping it and start looking for something else. So I think now is actually a good time. So yes, it's a tough market condition, but now it could be a very good time to actually find a partner or partners, plural, with a much better
Yeah.
fit for the services, for the type of setup. We see a lot of M&A happening on the market as well. I mean, Yodel was the recent one, GXO in Wincanton, and so on and so forth. So there is definitely going to be a kind of a reshuffle in the industry. And in this kind of environment, I think it's both. It's the challenge as well as the opportunity,
Yeah, there's
quite
a great
literally.
opportunity here to do some spring cleaning, right? And history
That's the
teaches us
one.
that when markets are challenging, the companies that make it do innovations, make changes, look at efficiency, do something different, they then benefit greatly when things are changed. And and as the old saying goes, the night is
Yeah,
darkest before the dawn. Lots of exciting opportunities. And then my
exactly.
last question is,
Yeah.
who would you love to have join you on Chain Reaction? Who are you looking to talk to?
Well, we had, as I said, we are two-sided marketplace, so we actually want to talk to both types of our clients. So we would like to talk to logistics service providers. So we give them the opportunity to kind of feature of what they do, how they do, where they do it, why they are good, and what differentiates them. Because everybody, I mean, from to an outsider, every logistics business is kind of, it's a commodity, it's vanilla. Like what, yeah, everybody else does the same thing. But actually, when you talk to providers, they do something unique. They stand for something. It's either for service, so their capability, or the relationships that they have, and so, or the staff that they've trained to do particular things. So we want to give them the platform to feature these kind of things and excite the audience about what they do. And on the other hand, we actually want to talk to an SME buyers or the manufacturers, I don't know, the microbreweries, the smaller jewelers, or the importers of, I don't know, clothing and so forth, just to see, well, they may have because they may have a very specific business requirements, or the customer service requirements, that they find it challenging, or they have seen a challenge and managed to solve it, and they would be happy to actually share their wisdom with the others, because logistics industry is one of the segments where really depth of expertise, I wouldn't say it's
Mm.
scarce, but it's compartmentalized. And when we work with the younger SMEs and the startup environment, very often they actually lack experience, lack depth, and lack um, access to the capabilities and the knowledge in the marketplace. So we want to kind of, I wouldn't call it to spread the joy, but at least share the nice, great stories, the case studies, and so forth, and allowing people actually to meet one another.
Yeah, and I'm sure there will be some great stories along the way in the industry. I'm sure there will be some funny stories too
I'd
that
love
people
to
can
hear
share
some
as well.
anecdotes and some of the
Bring,
some of the urban myths that will be either debunked or
we would
reconfirmed.
love some
Yes.
anecdotes.
Yeah.
Indeed. Fantastic. Okay. Very good, Michael. So very excited about what the future holds. People can find the podcast on Spotify, iTunes, and YouTube. It's Chain Reaction Podcast for the logistics and supply chain industry. Michael,
Thanks
thank you
very
very
much.
much.
Thank you.
Thanks for tuning into Chain Reaction. We hope you enjoyed the show. Please don't forget to subscribe. If you have a story or opinions to share from your sector, we'd love to hear from you. Simply reach out to Chain Reaction or visit flox.is for more information. See you next time.